Apache warrior married her for duty on their wedding night, he discovered. The gunshot split the air. Jake Marino threw himself sideways, dragging his bride behind the rocks. Maria hit hard as bullets chipped stone. 3 days married and someone wanted them dead. Jake married her because Chief Running Bear commanded it. The Apache needed an alliance with Mexican settlements. Maria's father controlled the trade routes. Jake owed Running Bear everything. The chief found him dying 5 years back, made him Apache. This marriage was debt payment. Maria knew the truth. She saw it during the ceremony, how he looked through her like another task. Her father traded her for peace. She accepted because her 3 sisters deserved better than war. The riders circled. Jake counted 6, maybe 7. Cole Patterson led them. He ran guns to anyone paying, profited from conflict. This marriage threatened his business completely. Jake's rifle held 5 rounds. Revolver had 6. Maria crouched in her torn dress. He expected tears. Instead, she pulled a pistol and checked it professionally. Their eyes met. Really met. Patterson shouted surrender promises. Quick death. Jake knew better. Torture for information first. Slow death after. Maria whispered her father's men came at sunset. 3 hours. Just survive. Jake calculated poor odds. Rocks gave cover. No escape. Patterson could wait or burn them out. Loud Spanish song about rabbits and coyotes. Jake thought heat got her. Then another voice answered from hills behind Patterson. Her cousin Diego followed from the wedding, she explained fast. The song was childhood code. Just told him everything. Patterson's men fired, stopping her song. Jake shot back, dropped one rider. Maria's pistol cracked twice. Another fell bleeding. She could really shoot. 2 hours tested everything Apache warriors taught Jake. He moved like shadows, fired from angles, wasted Patterson's ammunition. Maria matched perfectly, anticipating without words. She knew this desert equally. Diego hit from behind. Patterson's men scattered. Patterson ran south. Jake's bullet found him. He dropped, stayed down. Silence. Jake and Maria stood breathing hard. Her dress shredded, his shirt bloody. They fought like lifetime partners, not strangers. Diego rode up grinning. Been tracking them, expecting trouble. Maria hugged him, turned to Jake. Something changed during fighting. The duty marriage felt different, maybe real. Jake helped her mount. First time feeling her grip. Strong, sure. Long ride back, and Jake grew curious about this woman. Who sang warnings during gunfights? Who shot like natural, sun-beat down riding? Neither noticed heat. They survived together. Night ahead held unexpected possibilities. The settlement appeared at sunset. Jake and Maria rode silent, but different silence now. Not awkward strangers, closer to understanding. Diego peeled off toward Mexican quarter, left newlyweds facing whatever came alone. Running Bear waited outside Jake's adobe at Camp Edge. Old Chief's face stayed unreadable, eyes noting torn clothes and ruined dress. He spoke Apache, asking if they needed medicine or warriors. Jake responded, same language, handled it. Tread over. Maria understood Apache conversation. Grandmother was half Apache before marrying Mexican. Made sure Maria learned the language. Jake didn't know yet. Lots they didn't know. Running Bear nodded once, left him. Jake turned to his house, seeing it through Maria's eyes first time. One room, barely furnished, built for solitary man. Not wife's home. Shame crept up. Maria walked past, pushed door open. Interior stark, functional, clean, but empty. Bed, table, 2 chairs, fireplace. She moved to window, watched desert turn purple in twilight. Jake started apologizing, explaining he'd build more rooms, make better. She cut him off. Didn't care about house. Wanted knowing why Running Bear chose him for marriage. Father said Apache needed someone trusted absolutely, bridging both worlds. She wanted understanding what kind of man Jake Moreno really was. So he told her. Growing up mission orphanage where priests beat children speaking Spanish, not English. Running at 12, nearly dying desert. Running Bear finding him half dead from thirst and sun, bringing him to Apache camp. Learning hunt, track, fight, survive. Earning place among people with every reason rejecting him, but chose acceptance. Maria listened without interrupting. When finished, she told hers. Mother dying when 8, leaving her raising sisters while father built trading empire. Learning. Shoot because bandits didn't care if you were woman raiding supply trains. agreeing this marriage because sisters deserved growing up peaceful, not refugees or worse. Both silent a while. Then, Maria said something changing everything. She saw how he fought today. Apache techniques mixed with her father's vaquero tactics, saw how he moved, thought, adapted. Running Bear chose well. But more, she chose making marriage real instead of political arrangement, if willing. Jake never expected this. Married her because duty demanded, owing Running Bear everything. Idea this could be more something chosen, not commanded, hadn't occurred. He looked at Maria, really looked first time. Dust in dark hair, determination in eyes, strength in stance. Not duty. Partner. He said yes. Not because Running Bear asked, because wanted to. Maria smiled slightly, started unpacking small bag brought. Pulled fresh clothes, cooking supplies, personal items. Then something wrapped cloth. Unwrapped carefully, revealing beautiful Apache wedding basket, kind woven by grandmothers, passed down generations. His grandmother made it, she explained. Running Bear gave her mother before Maria born. Mother wanted her having it, remembering where it came from. Jake stared at basket, understanding meaning. Maria wasn't just Apache by blood. Part of his world already, always was. They ate simple meal together, sharing food and conversation like normal people instead of strangers-bound politics. Maria talked about sisters. Youngest wanted being horse trainer. Middle one did figures faster than merchants. Jake talked about Apache warriors, young men he'd been training. Responsibility Running Bear, slowly transferring him. Night fell completely. They prepared bed. Awkwardness returned briefly, two people still learning rhythms. But when Maria caught Jake's eye in lamplight, she wasn't afraid. Neither was he. Already faced death together. This just another unknown territory navigating? Jake told her Apache customer. Married couples often spent first weeks learning each other's stories before anything else. Maria appreciated that, suggested doing same. Take time building something real before rushing expectations. They talked long into night, sharing memories and dreams and fears. Jake learned Maria spoke 4 languages, once broke horse trader's nose mistreating animals. Maria learned Jake carved wood when couldn't sleep, had deep fear being trapped small spaces from orphanage days. When finally slept, same bed, but space between. Not stranger space anymore. Space of 2 people learning trust. Jake lay awake listening Maria breathe, thinking how much changed single day. Woke that morning resigned to duty marriage. Falling asleep next woman making him want more? Not because anyone commanded, because she was brave and smart and saw him more than Running Bear's weapon. Darkness. Maria's voice came soft. Asked if regretted marriage. Jake thought about answer. Told truth. Regretted how started, being told not choosing, but didn't regret where they were now. She quiet moment said, felt same. Tomorrow brought new challenges. Patterson's death created ripples. Not everyone happy about this alliance between Apache and Mexican families. But tonight, this small house at Edge Two Worlds, Jake and Maria found unexpected something. Partnership. Maybe beginning something deeper. Jake drifted sleep. First time years not dreaming about being alone, desert, dying thirst. Dreamed about riding beside someone, facing whatever came together. When woke, knew things changed, way couldn't undo, and didn't want. Morning light filtered through small window when Jake opened eyes. Maria already awake, dressed practical riding clothes, working fireplace, smell coffee and cornmeal filled room. She glanced back, hearing him move. Offered cup without speaking. He took it, surprised how natural this felt, like shared mornings, years, not hours. They needed reporting Patterson's death to both Running Bear and Maria's father. Aftermath would be complicated, possibly dangerous. Patterson had partners, men profiting from conflict, same as him. Those men wouldn't take death lightly, especially since came during attack on very alliance they wanted. Maria said father would want seeing them by noon. Need details about attack, proof Patterson was behind. Jake agreed but said needed visiting Running Bear first. Chief had to know everything before anyone else. Trust built on honesty. Running Bear deserved truth before rumors spread. They rode Apache camp together. Warriors watched passing, noting Maria's presence, her comfort horse back. Way she sat tall instead shrinking under stairs. Word spread about attack, how she fought alongside Jake. Apache respected courage above almost everything. She was earning approval without trying. Running Bear received them his lodge. Wife brought water and food, sign respect not lost on Maria. She thanked woman and Apache, and Jake saw Running Bear's expression shift slightly. Chief hadn't known Maria spoke their language. This was good. Surprises like this built bridges. Jake recounted attack in detail while Maria added observations he'd missed. She described how Patterson's men positioned themselves, weapons, tactics. She'd been counting and watching even while shooting. Her information would help if Patterson's partners came seeking revenge. Running Bear listened without interrupting. When finished, asked Maria a direct question. Did she want returning father's house to safety until danger passed? Could do so without shame. No one would think less choosing security over risk. Maria's answer immediate and firm. Her place was with Jake now, in this camp, among his people who were now her people too. If Patterson's partners came, they'd face both Apache and Mexican fighters. Alliance wasn't just words on paper. Real, and she intended honoring it. Running Bear smiled. Actually smiled, something rarely did. Told them marriage was blessed. They'd chosen well even if choice came after ceremony instead before. Then shared information Jake needed hearing. Patterson wasn't working alone. A man named Carson Wade ran larger operation, supplying guns to anyone paying. Wade based in town called Copper Ridge 3 days north. He'd hear about Patterson's death soon if hadn't already. Maria asked obvious question. Would Wade come revenge or cut losses? Running Bear believed Wade would come. Patterson was family to him, cousin or nephew, relationship wasn't clear, but blood mattered to Wade, same as mattered Apache and Mexican families. He'd want satisfaction. They needed preparing. Jake suggested gathering fighters from both communities, creating unified defense. Maria agreed but added they needed carrying fight to Wade instead waiting him strike. Her father's traders could gather intelligence about Wade's operations, numbers, resources. If hit him first, hit hard, could end this before it became war. Running Bear considered this. Offensive action wasn't typical Apache strategy lately. People tired fighting, wanted peace. But Maria right. Waiting Wade attack meant casualties, meant fighting on ground and timing he chose. Taking fight him meant control. Chief made decision. They'd gather fighters, pool intelligence, plan strike against Wade's operation, but needed more information first. Rushing blind would be foolish. Maria said she could have information within 2 days. Father's network extensive, Wade's organization had buying supplies somewhere. Follow money and goods, find operation. They left Running Bear's lodge with plan forming. Jake felt something shift his chest, sensation couldn't quite name. Used to taking orders, following Running Bear's commands. Now helping make decisions affecting both communities, Maria's influence changing his role, expanding responsibilities. Maria's father, Carlos Martinez, received them at Hacienda with mixed emotions visible on weathered face. Relief daughter survived attack, pride hearing how she fought, anger at Patterson's betrayal, and underneath all, curiosity about whether marriage alliance would actually work. Carlos built trading empire through careful negotiation and strategic relationships. Gambled everything on this alliance, offering eldest daughter securing peace and profit. Now needed knowing if gamble would pay off or cost everything. Jake let Maria explain what happened and what planned. She spoke father rapid Spanish, too fast Jake following completely, but caught main points. Wade's operation, need intelligence, decision striking first. Carlos listened, asked sharp questions, tested reasoning. Then old trader did unexpected, turned Jake and switched English, asking directly what his intentions were regarding Maria. Not about alliance or politics, but about daughter as person. Did Jake see her as tool or wife? Jake faced charging cavalry and armed bandits without flinching. This question made hesitate. Couldn't lie, Carlos. Wasn't entirely sure answer himself. Everything happening too fast. Settled on truth. Didn't know yet what they were building, but was more than duty now. Maria wasn't tool, partner, and intended honoring that. Carlos studied long moment, then nodded. Good enough. Seen men lie about loving daughter before. Honesty about uncertainty preferable false promises. He'd provide intelligence needed and fighters backing strike against Wade. But had one condition. Maria would help leading operation. She knew his traders, knew how gathering information without raising suspicion, knew territory between here and Copper Ridge. If Jake wanted true partnership, this was test. Could work beside her as equal, or would pride get way? Jake looked Maria. She was watching, measuring reaction. This important to her, maybe more important than anything else. He'd been raised world where men led and women followed. Apache more balanced, but even they had certain expectations. What Carlos proposing went against everything Jake grew believing, but also grew believing he was worthless, deserved beatings, and hunger of orphanage. Apache taught him that belief was wrong. Maybe ideas about leadership and partnership wrong too. agreed Carlos's condition without hesitation, surprising himself how easy decision was. Maria's expression didn't change, but something eyes softened. This real test and passed. Not perfectly, maybe, but well enough now. They spent rest day planning with Carlos and advisors. Maria knew these men, worked with them since childhood. They respected opinions, deferred to knowledge about supply routes and trading patterns. Jake watched and learned, seeing side of wife never imagined existed. By sunset, had network informants ready tracking Wade's movements and identifying base operations. Carlos's traders would spread across territory, asking casual questions, noting unusual purchases, weapons, and ammunition. Within 2 days, would have enough information planning strike. Jake and Maria rode back their house as darkness fell. Been awake nearly 20 hours, planning and negotiating and building something larger themselves. Exhaustion pulled both, but also satisfaction. Accomplished real work today, created real change. Inside small house, they moved around each other with growing familiarity. Maria heated water washing while Jake checked weapons and ammunition. Need everything ready if Wade moved faster expected. After washing up, shared another simple meal and compared notes about day. Jake admitted been impressed watching her work Carlos's advisors. She knew things about territory and politics never considered. Maria smiled and said been equally impressed watching him with Running Bear's warriors. Commanded respect without demanding, led without needing proving in charge. They learning each other's strengths, filling each other's gaps. Jake understood Apache tactics and desert survival. Maria understood trade networks and information gathering. Together, made more complete team than either could alone. Marriage becoming more than alliance between communities, becoming alliance between two people who complemented unexpected ways. As prepared bed, Maria asked Jake about fears regarding upcoming confrontation Wade. Told truth. Wasn't afraid fighting or dying. Afraid failing Running Bear and Carlos, proving trust him misplaced. Maria understood that fear. Carried it too, weighed other people's expectations and hopes. They talked about it until late, sharing vulnerabilities hidden from everyone else. Jake told about nightmares from orphanage, nights when woke convinced back dark room with door locked. Maria told about morning mother died, how had being strong for sisters when wanted screaming and breaking things. These conversations building something between deeper than strategy and alliance. Becoming friends, learning trusting each other with more than lives, but with fears and weaknesses too. When finally slept, Maria's head rested against Jake's shoulder. Happened naturally, not planned or forced. Just two tired people taking comfort each other's presence. Jake lay awake a bit longer, thinking how strange life was. Week ago, alone. Now had wife, responsibilities, and something might, growing into love. Wasn't sure about that last part yet. Love seemed big word for what had, but whatever this was, felt right. Felt like beginning something worth fighting for, worth protecting. As sleep finally claimed Jake's last, thought simple one. Tomorrow brought challenges, but they'd face together. Made all difference. The second day after attack began with urgent news. One Carlos's traders arrived before dawn, horse-lathered hard riding. Wade's men already moving, heading south faster expected. They'd be in territory within 2 days, maybe 3. Timeline for gathering intelligence and planning careful strike just collapsed. Jake and Maria dressed quickly and rode, meeting Running Bear and Carlos simultaneously. Gathered Carlos's hacienda first time Apache chief entered Mexican compound years. Symbolism wasn't lost anyone present. This alliance being tested before had time solidifying. Trader, nervous young man named Pedro, reported everything learned. Wade brought at least 30 men, maybe more. Heavily armed and moving with purpose, not trying hiding approach. Wade wanted them knowing he was coming. Wanted fear doing half work before first shot fired. Running Bear asked about Wade's route and camping patterns. Pedro tracked them full day before racing back. Wade's group moved during daylight and camped nights, posting guards but not operating military precision. They were confident, maybe too confident. Maria saw opportunity immediately. If Wade's men camped predictably, could be hit night, disrupted before reached settlements. Night raid went against conventional wisdom, attacking when couldn't see clearly, but also meant Wade's superior numbers mattered less. Confusion and darkness would level battlefield. Carlos wasn't sure. Night fighting risky, and many of his men weren't trained for it. They were traders and ranch hands, not soldiers. Running Bear countered Apache warriors been conducting night raids generations. Could lead, teach Mexican fighters enough surviving and fighting effectively. Jake listened debate, understanding both sides, then offered compromise. Split force into 2 groups. Apache warriors would handle direct night assault, using tactics perfected over decades. Carlos's men would position themselves cutting off escape routes and catching anyone fled camp, each group doing what did best. Plan had merit. Running Bear and Carlos discussed details, testing idea weaknesses. Maria added suggestions about positioning and timing-based knowledge terrain between here and where Wade would likely camp. Gradually, plan took shape, becoming more solid and actionable. They had less than 48 hours preparing. Running Bear committed 20 warriors, best fighters. Carlos would provide 30 men, armed rifles, and positioned carefully chosen locations. Jake and Maria would ride with Apache group, their presence symbolizing alliance they all risking lives protecting. Preparation moved quickly. Apache warriors gathered weapons and painted themselves night fighting. Carlos's men positioned along likely escape routes, giving clear instructions waiting fleeing targets rather engaging main force. Scouts sent tracking Wade's exact location and confirming camping patterns. Maria spent afternoon with sisters, not telling about coming fight but saying goodbye ways wouldn't understand until later. Gave youngest favored horsebrush, told middle one where kept important papers, hugged eldest younger 3, and whispered should be brave. Sisters sensed something wrong but didn't press details. Jake found her afterwards, knew what'd been doing without asking. He had no family saying goodbye except Running Bear, and those words been spoken years ago, different circumstances. Both risking everything tomorrow night, and real chance one or both wouldn't return. They sat together outside small house, watching sunset over desert. Maria asked Jake if believed fate, if thought things happened reason, or if life was just random chaos. He wasn't sure. Orphanage priests talked about divine plans, but their gods seemed cruel and arbitrary. Apache spoke balance and harmony, which made more sense him. Maria said, used believing fate. Thought mother died, for some larger purpose would understand someday. Now wasn't sure either. Maybe they made own fate through choices and actions. Maybe choosing making marriage real instead just accepting duty was creating new future neither could predicted. Jake agreed. Spent years accepting what life gave, following orders, surviving day to day. Meeting Maria changed that. Now wanted shaping own future, building something instead, just enduring. Terrifying and exciting same time. They spent evening checking weapons and gear, preparing raid with practiced efficiency. Jake showed Maria some Apache techniques moving silently night, using shadows and natural cover. She showed him tricks father's guards taught about reading terrain darkness, using starlight and moon shadows navigating. As midnight approached, they lay down together, knowing sleep necessary but unlikely. Maria turned to Jake and said, something been holding back. If survived this, wanted truly starting marriage. Not as political arrangement or duty communities, but as two people chose each other. She choosing him now, before fight, so would know her heart, regardless what happened. Jake's response simpler but no less meaningful. Choosing her too. Whatever happened tomorrow, they'd faced it together by choice, not command. Made all difference. They made love that night first time, not with desperate passion, but with tenderness and certainty. Two people claiming each other and faced possible death. Afterwards, held each other until sleep finally came, both more at peace than been since marriage began. Dawn arrived too quickly. Jake and Maria dressed dark clothing suitable night fighting. Road assembly point where Apache warriors and Mexican fighters gathered, checking weapons and receiving final instructions. Running Bear dressed group Apache, translated Maria for Carlos's men. Tonight fought not for territory or revenge, but peace. Wade represented old way, profit through conflict, power through division. Their alliance represented something new, cooperation instead competition. Victory tonight meant securing future where children wouldn't grow dodging bullets and choosing sides. Warriors responded quiet determination. These weren't young men seeking glory. Most were fathers, husbands, men seen enough war valuing peace. They understood what fighting for. They rode out groups, spacing themselves, avoiding raising dust clouds. Scouts reported Wade's camp location, confirmed following expected patterns, everything proceeding as planned, which made Jake nervous. Learned smooth planning often preceded chaotic execution. As sunset approached, positioned themselves around Wade's projected camp location. Apache warriors spread loose circle, ready striking multiple directions simultaneously. Carlos's men took positions high ground and likely escape routes, prepared catching runners. Jake and Maria waited with Running Bear's personal guard, most experienced fighters. They'd lead initial assault, breaking Wade's organization while others prevented escape and reinforced as needed. Old Chief insisted this arrangement. If alliance leaders fought together most dangerous point, others would follow example. Darkness fell slowly, stars emerging one by one across clear desert sky. They waited, letting full night settle before moving. Wade's camp became visible as men lit fires, confident their numbers and firepower. Cooking, talking, relaxing, perfect targets. Running Bear gave signal. Apache warriors began moving, flowing through darkness like smoke. Jake and Maria moved with them, years survival training, combining recent practice. Covered last 100 yards, complete silence, getting close enough hearing Wade's men joking about what they'd do Apache settlement and Maria's sisters. Rage flashed through Jake, cold and focused. These men deserved what coming. Glanced Maria saw same cold determination eyes. About unleashing violence on people thought themselves safe and superior. Grim satisfaction that. Running Bear whistled, sound like Nightbird would mean nothing Wade's men but everything Apache warriors. Attack began brutal efficiency. Arrows flew darkness, dropping men before understood happening. Warriors rushed camp 4 directions, war cries piercing night. Chaos erupted, Wade's men scrambled weapons, firing blindly darkness. Apache fighters used confusion, striking and vanishing, creating impression larger force. Jake and Maria fought side by side, covering each other's movements, working together like been doing years. Wade himself stood near largest fire, shouting orders nobody could hear over screaming and gunfire. Jake recognized him descriptions. Big man, gray beard, cold eyes. Wade trying organized defense, create formation, could fight effectively. Maria saw same thing. Pointed Wade out Running Bear, suggesting needed taking him down, completing psychological break. Old Chief agreed and signaled 3 best warriors. They moved together, Jake and Maria included, pushing through chaos toward Wade's position. Wade saw them coming and started firing, rifle bark in darkness. Jake felt bullet pass close enough here, rolled behind cover and returned fire, keeping Wade pinned while others maneuvered. Maria came from side, pistol cracking twice. Wade staggered but didn't fall, wearing some kind armor undercoat. Big man roared and charged Maria, apparently deciding woman easier target. Big mistake. Maria sidestepped rush and slashed with knife Jake didn't know carried. Wade howled and spun, catching her with backhand sent sprawling. Jake's vision went red. Was on Wade before Big Man could follow up, driving shoulder into Wade's injured side. Went down together, rolling and fighting advantage. Wade stronger, but Jake faster and fought with Apache techniques Big Man never encountered. Running Bear's warriors circled them, keeping other fighters away while leaders fought. This personal now, not just tactical. Wade represented everything wrong territory, every conflict and death profited from. Jake represented new way, alliance, hope, peace. They fought until both bleeding and exhausted. Wade finally made mistake overextending on punch. Jake caught arm twisted and heard something snap. Wade screamed and dropped, clutching broken arm. Jake stood over, breathing hard, ready finishing. Maria's voice stopped. She back on feet, blood-lit but eyes clear. Said needed Wade alive, needed him telling other partners alliance was real and would defend itself. Dead Wade became martyr. Dead Wade became warning. Jake understood wisdom but struggled mercy. This man would killed them all, would destroyed everything building. But Maria right. Strategic thinking had override emotional satisfaction. Stepped back and let Running Bear's warriors secure Wade leather straps. Battle essentially over. Wade's men either dead, captured, or fled into darkness where Carlos's fighters waited. Camp taken fewer casualties than anyone expected. Apache tactics, darkness proven devastatingly effective. Carlos's positioning prevented any organized escape. They gathered prisoners and began long process securing area and treating wounded. Maria tended injuries alongside Apache medicine women, knowledge healing surprising everyone. Jake worked Running Bear's warriors, ensuring no threats remained hidden. As dawn broke over battlefield magnitude, what accomplished became clear. Wade's operation finished. Men scattered or captured. Alliance proven itself blood and fire. More importantly, Jake and Maria proven themselves both communities as leaders worth following. They rode back settlement as sun rose, exhausted but victorious. Wade bound and placed horse-surrounded guards. He'd live spread word attacking alliance men facing both Apache warriors and Mexican fighters working together. Message would carry farther any diplomatic agreement. Running Bear and Carlos met them settlement border, both men showing relief and pride equal measure. Gamble paid off. Alliance sealed not just marriage vows but shared sacrifice and victory. Maria's father embraced daughter, and Jake saw tears old trader's eyes. That night, Jake and Maria finally slept their small house. wrapped around each other, safe and home. They'd faced death and worse together. They'd chosen each other before knowing if survive. Now had future build, one forged fire, but full possibilities neither could imagined week ago when duty first brought together. The weeks following raid against Wade brought changes nobody fully anticipated. Word spread quickly through territory. Apache and Mexican forces united, defeated significant threat, and taken prisoners instead, scalps. Violence notable, but restraint afterwards revolutionary. Wade himself became unwilling ambassador peace. Carlos put him work trading compounds, supervised constantly but alive and reasonably treated. Other gun runners and conflict profiteers heard this and understood message. Alliance had teeth but also offered alternatives, endless fighting. Several smaller operations quietly packed and moved territories where chaos still promised profit. Jake found himself spending more time Mexican settlements than Apache camps. Carlos needed someone understanding both cultures, helping manage growing cooperation. Trading agreements led shared water rights discussions. Those led combined security patrols. Each small success built towards something larger. Maria equally busy. Apache women began visiting Martina's hacienda, initially suspicious but gradually warming, idea-sharing knowledge about desert plants, weaving techniques, and medicine. Maria facilitated meetings, translating languages and cultures with growing skill. Her grandmother's Apache heritage gave credibility leveraged carefully. Their marriage became visible symbol alliance, examined and discussed constantly both communities. Some approved, seeing genuine partnership developing. Others remained skeptical, waiting arrangement crack under pressure. Jake and Maria felt scrutiny but tried ignoring, focusing instead building something real between them. Running Bear called Jake his lodge one evening, 6 weeks after raid. Old Chief looked tired, older somehow. Told Jake something been holding back. Alliance working better expected, creating opportunities Running Bear hoped for but never quite believed possible. But success brought new challenges. Younger warriors questioned why needed white man leading them negotiations Mexicans. They respected Jake's fighting skills but resented authority political matters. Running Bear been shielding Jake from worst of it, but pressure building. Some resolution needed before resentment turned open challenge. Jake sensed tension but hadn't fully understood depth. Asked Running Bear what wanted. Chief's answer simple but difficult. Jake needed proving was Apache, more than just skills and loyalty. Needed undergoing full acceptance ceremony, something avoided years ago out feeling unworthy. Ritual would settle questions about place, tribe, permanently. Ceremony brutal. 3 days desert with minimal water, followed ritual scarification and vision quest elements testing physical and mental endurance. Jake seen others go through, knew what, demanded, was older now. Carrying wounds raid hadn't fully healed, would be harder than if done at 20. Maria listened as explained what Running Bear asked. Understood necessity, but hated risk. Jake already injured, already exhausted from weeks' constant negotiation and travel. This could kill. She suggested waiting until fully healed, but Jake knew wasn't possible. Challenge needed answering now or authority would erode completely. They spent night before ceremony talking about everything and nothing. Maria told Jake about childhood, stories hadn't heard yet about mother and early years with sisters. Jake shared memories from before orphanage, fragments suppressed years about parents barely remembered. They'd building complete picture each other's lives, filling gaps. When dawn came, Jake left with Running Bear and 3 other warriors. Maria watched from house, fighting urge follow. This something Jake had do alone. Her presence would undermine whole purpose. She turned own work. Helping coordinate trade caravan needed organizing, throwing herself details, avoid thinking desert heat and dehydration. 3 days Jake spent desert tested everything learned from Apache. Finding water places looked barren. Tracking animals eat. Navigating by stars and shadows. More than physical survival, tested resolve. Why doing this? For Running Bear? For Alliance? For Maria? By 3rd day, Jake understood was for himself. Needed knowing belonged somewhere, fully and completely. Orphanage rejected him. Birth family mystery. Apache offered acceptance years ago, but held back, afraid failing, unworthy gift. Now ready claiming place. Scarification ritual hurt worse than getting shot. Apache warriors cut traditional patterns chest and arms, marking him one of them permanently. Jake endured without crying out, letting pain anchor him this moment, this choice. Blood ran down skin, mixing sweat and dust. Being remade. Vision quest followed, sent deeper into himself than ever gone. Alone, sacred cave, fasting and waiting whatever truth spirits wanted showing. Jake didn't know if believed Apache spirits exactly, but believed the process, stripping away everything except essential truth. What saw darkness that cave wasn't dramatic or mystical. Saw Maria, waiting. Saw running bear, trusting. Saw Carlos, needing. Saw himself, finally, without shame and doubt, colored everything so long. Was enough. Always been enough. Realization simple but transformative. When Jake emerged cave fourth day, something changed him. Warriors been waiting saw immediately. It wasn't same man entered. Ceremony worked purpose. Jake Moreno was Apache now, not just skills but spirit and truth. They rode back settlement slowly, giving Jake time to recover. Weak from fasting and dehydration, but strength underneath temporary weakness. Running Bear rode beside, not speaking but present. Old Chief known what Jake needed, given gift proving himself. Maria waiting when rode in. Saw new scars, exhaustion, fundamental change how Jake carried himself, helped him down horse and supported back their house, asking no questions, just being present. That night tended wounds and brought water and food, small amounts avoid making sick after days fasting. Jake told about ceremony, about what learned and seen. Maria listened and understood. Never doubted was Apache, but knowing completed full ritual meant something both communities. Removed questions and challenges, solidified authority. More than that, changed marriage. Jake wasn't pretending to be something wasn't anymore. Claimed identity fully, and that confidence affected everything. Looked Maria differently, not as someone above him culture and knowledge, but equal partner. Subtle shift dynamics strengthened everything between. Word Jake's ceremony spread through both Apache and Mexican communities. Symbolic weight significant. White man chose becoming Apache through hardest possible path, enduring what many born into tribe avoided. Younger warriors questioned him, fell silent. If willing suffering for belonging, what right had denying? Carlos heard about and nodded approval. Daughter married man who committed fully choices. Mattered old traitor more than bloodlines or origin. Commitment could trusted, convenience could not. Alliance strengthened weeks following Jake's ceremony. Challenges still existed, but foundation solid now. Trade increased, bringing prosperity both communities. Security improved as combined patrols covered more ground more effectively. Small problems once sparked conflicts got resolved talking instead shooting. Jake and Maria's house expanded, built 2 more rooms with help both Apache and Mexican workers. Construction itself became another symbol. Communities working together, something concrete and visible. Their home becoming physical representation alliance, place where both cultures mixed naturally. Maria discovered pregnant 3 months after wedding. News spread like wildfire, creating celebration and anxiety equal measure. Child both worlds, living proof alliance could produce something new and hopeful. But also target, potentially, for anyone wanted undermining what they'd built. Jake's reaction, pregnancy, complicated. Joy at idea child. Fear about bringing someone into world still dangerous and uncertain. Determination building something better before son or daughter arrived. Maria shared all those feelings, adding own concerns about motherhood and whether could balance leadership responsibilities with raising child. They talked about it late into night, working through fears and hopes together. Running Bear offered wisdom from raising own children difficult times. Carlos shared stories about Maria's mother and how they'd managed during violent years. Both older men essentially said same, you do best, love children, teach them, be strong and kind, and hope world treats fairly. Pregnancy changed how both communities viewed Jake and Maria. Weren't just symbols alliance anymore. Building family, creating future included both worlds. Baby made everything more real, more permanent. What started duty had become something much deeper. As Maria's pregnancy progressed, they prepared birth and for life would follow. Jake built cradle using Apache and Mexican woodworking techniques, each culture contributing design. Maria gathered supplies and knowledge, both Apache midwives and Mexican healers, determined having best both worlds for child. They argued sometimes about small things and large ones, how raising baby, which traditions following, what language speak home, but always worked through, finding compromises honored both cultures. Their relationship evolved from awkward strangers, to partners, to lovers, to something approaching deep understanding. Jake sometimes thought about how strange life became, from orphan to Apache warrior to husband to father-to-be. Each transformation built on previous one, creating something never could imagined during those dark years' mission. Maria done same journey different ways, from dutiful daughter to political bargaining chip to true partner to expecting mother. Child born early spring, healthy boy with mother's dark eyes and father's stubborn jaw. They named him Running Wolf, Apache name, but also answer Diego like Maria's cousin. 2 names, 2 worlds, hoping move easily between both. Birth brought both communities together, celebration. Apache warriors and Mexican traders drank together, sharing stories and plans. Running Bear held grandson and spoke blessings words needed no translation. Carlos wept openly, seeing bloodline continue way feared might never happen. Jake held son and felt terror and wonder equal measure. This tiny person depended completely. More than that, Running Wolf represented hope future, where Apache and Mexican children didn't automatically become enemies. Alliance had work now. Failure meant condemning son, same violence marked Jake's own childhood. Maria recovered birth characteristic strength. Within weeks, back coordinating between communities, though now with baby strapped back traditional Apache style. Refused letting motherhood stop work, insisting child should see and learn both worlds from earliest age. Their marriage been forged violence and necessity, but become something real and lasting. They'd chosen each other repeatedly, through danger and challenge and change. Awkward strangers forced together, politics had become partners every sense word. As Running Wolf grew, Jake and Maria built life only imagined during those first desperate days. Alliance held, strengthened trade and shared interests, and simple reality peace more profitable than constant war. Challenges remained, but faced together, supported communities learned, trusting each other. Jake never forgot that first night after Patterson's attack, when realized Maria more than duty. She'd become partner, wife truth, and now mother his child. Ceremony Running Bear forced them through, started obligation, but became foundation everything good life. Sometimes evening, sat together watching desert sunset, Running Wolf sleeping between. Maria would lean against Jake's shoulder and hold them both. Grateful strange path led this moment. Duty brought together, but choice kept together. Made all difference. Their son would grow knowing both peoples, comfortable both worlds, living proof building bridges possible even hardest circumstances. Alliance started with reluctant marriage had created something new and hopeful. Not perfect, never easy, but real and worth fighting for. Jake and Maria learned together one hard daytime building life neither could imagine but both grateful share.